crazy. It's still daylight and everything.
It is as well. Right, you can go.
This weather's weird.
Streaming? Cool.
Yeah, we were watching
Alright.
a thunderstorm about half an hour ago.
It was
I know,
literally tipping it
crazy.
down earlier.
Yeah.
now
So-
there's a lot of cloud in the sky.
When last we left our party, after making a deal with Lord Duskwatch, they decided to help Brother Gabriel deal with the undead problems in Fallen Dawn. After a hard-fought Pyrrhic victory, the party defeated the undead menace and closed the portal to the Shadowfell. When they returned to the Citadel of the Moon, they spent some of their reward money unpetrifying Jeremiah and Art. But Jeremiah was called back to his world to resume his place as Cord's. We're off to a good start, boys and girls.
No, I like how you say you put Jeremiah with doomed.
Yeah. Resume his place as Cord's champion there. When they found Lord Duskwatch, he had already spread news of their victory and essentially taken all the credit for himself. He paid lip service to how you guys were the true heroes and rewarded the party with expensive magic items and arranged travel to the surface as agreed. He expressed hopes that he could continue being your sponsor and that you could continue your mutually beneficial relationship. It was during these celebrations that the party gained a new member in the form of Erlan Chaddington, a half-elf bard who proved himself in combat against Yolya. During the night, Risu spoke with Istus, who named her as her champion, and warned her that somehow Erlan Chaddington was fateless and that Risu should be wary of him. Before they departed, Virtue told the group that he had decided to stay behind, as things were getting too dangerous for him. Now, with old friends left behind and a new friend in tow, the party enters the fortress city of Bulwark. And we ended the last session with you guys all on the elevator descending down into Bulwark, and I described how the landscape around the city is this completely colorless world where no light ever comes, so none of the vegetation has any green in it. It's all just this pale, ghostly white. And you slowly descend into this golden beacon of a fortress that is Bulwark, and you can hear the hum of machinery below you and the hissing of gases being released. You can hear the bustle of people even long before any people actually come into view. You are able to get a decent look at the city from above as you come down, and I'll put you onto the map of Bulwark, and you're able to tell Bulwark is more or less built in the crater that the Citadel of the Moon left when it rose up into the sky. So it has more or less the same shape, but it seems like population is beginning to spill out of the crater and start to build ramshackle walls outside of the walls of Duskwatch as well.
In a slum.
Not so much a slum in the sense that like you have seen in other cities. It still seems to have
Final
like
Fantasy VII here then. That's what it reminded me of.
Final Fantasy VII was a two-tiered city. We already did that before,
Okay.
so I can't reuse that idea. Anyway, you guys will descend here at A. Shit, I need to use the right pointer. There we go. Here at A, which is the Citadel elevator. It seems to be on the boundaries of like large trade district, and as soon as the rickety elevator comes to the ground, people are crowding around to begin inspecting and offloading the goods that are on the elevator waiting for you. And the other thing that is on the boundary of appears to be either like a nightlife district or a place where all the hotels are or something. You're not familiar with this city enough yet, but that's the impression that you get. As soon as you like arrive, people start bustling onto the elevator to like shove you out of the way and start getting at goods. Notably, you notice like a very pink-haired gnome who's even smaller than Risu, who like is carrying a step ladder around with him and peering over to inspect crates and mark things off on a list. And you are called out to by a clean-shaven dwarf who calls out to you as Fate Touched and waves you over to him. And you have a moment to get your bearing, like the scene is yours.
How the hell does he know we're fate touched?
Do you say that out loud?
Sent by someone.
Yes, I actually say that to the rest of the party.
Well,
well-
with great fate touch such as ourselves, I mean, surely we are spotted everywhere.
Shut up.
I push Yolia forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this clean-shaven dwarf, he, is minute next to you, and he's stocky as most dwarfs tend to be. But he walks up to you and begins wringing his hands nervously as he approaches it. Ah, yes, it's so wonderful to meet you. You must be the fate-touched. Lord Duskwatch actually told us of your arrival, because he arranged your transport down here, and he asked me to be your guide while you're in this city. Now, this city has many, many wonderful sights to see. It is one of the marvels of this very beautiful surface world that I'm sure you'll be very pleased to spend some time in. Sorry, my apologies. I have not introduced myself yet. My name is Blottius. And I know you only as Fate Touched. I haven't had the chance to get your names.
Blottius, are you very good with ink quills?
Yes, that's a very, very funny one, Mr. Fate Touched. Very humorous.
Why don't you have a beard? I don't think I've ever met a dwarf without a beard.
Well, many dwarves do have beards, but some of us choose to shave them. It's a style choice. It's come into fashion much more since the current king has elected to shave his beard.
Makes you look younger.
Thank you. I very much appreciate the
Thank you,
compliment.
kind sir.
Yes.
How
Sorry,
old are you, Blottius?
Oh, well,
Are we on a date?
That's not
It's rude to ask
usually
me.
I'm on a
Yeah,
date. I
yeah,
know
yeah.
the rough age.
One second, I didn't realise we were playing the telephone club mini game from Yakuza here, guys. You sound young.
Oh god, no.
Well, sir, I've only just exited my first century, actually, so I'm not a child, but I suppose you might call me young for a dwarf. I understand that different races age differently.
Sprightly.
I mean, we have a close relationship with the elves above who live for basically forever. I'm sorry, I still haven't caught your names. I'd love to be able to know what to refer to you as.
I am Fart Hammock IDK. Pleasure to meet you,
His
sir.
name,
Shake his hand.
I interject instantly with his name is Ott. Do not call him that other one.
It is wonderful to meet you, Mr. Ott, Mr. Fart Hammock IDK. Which would you prefer that I address you as?
Fart Hammock IDK is fine, thank
Of
you.
course,
Sir, if you will.
Absolutely.
Can I
sir,
hit Rob's
yes.
character in the back of the head really hard?
Mm-hmm. Do you want to cause damage, or are you just
No,
going
of
to give
course
him a
not. I'm
slap?
just going to smack him around the back of the head.
Okay, you can smack him around the back of the
I
head.
kind of push the others backwards and I go, of course, I am Erland Shaddington, the bard of the group. And then I kind of play a little note on my lute so he kind of thinks, he's like, wow, that guy's a really good bard.
Yeah, well, he applauds you. He seems genuinely excited to meet you. Of course, Mr. Chaddington, yes, it is such a pleasure to have you in our city as well as the rest of your associates. I assume you must be the leader of this group?
I
No.
don't like to brag, but
Can we please all agree, though? No, we're not letting him be the bloody party.
Of
Yeah.
course, of course.
as soon
And-
as you say that, I kind of just slink away into the background again.
There isn't
And,
an actual leader of the party.
Oh, of course. My apologies. My terrible mistake. A committee of equals, I suppose it must be.
I mean,
Yeah, but we've got
what
Cat
made you
Mummy
think
to
a
help us.
bard was the leader?
God damn it! Why does everyone say this?
He just seemed to have such a commanding presence. I was enthralled. I apologize.
Not even the guy who introduced
And he's
himself
blushing
first. I
beet
see.
red. And
Any wagon who gives you candy.
Could you not tell by my handshake, the sturdiness and the firmness of it, that I was
God,
A businessman at
I'm
heart.
terribly
A businessman
sorry.
at
I meant
heart.
no offense. I truly hope I haven't upset you at all with what I've said. I'm sorry, young avian madam. I haven't caught your name. Sorry.
I'm Brazilian. I'm the archer of the.
Of course, wonderful. And I suppose the panther is yours. I'm sure it's very well trained.
No.
it kills people on a whim.
I mean, I don't
Oh.
feed it. So
He
be
takes
careful.
a step back and looks over at Hayarkin for help. Sir, I apologize. I didn't mean to leave you out of the conversation at all. I mean, you've already heard my name is Blottius. May I have your name?
Yes, it's Hyarkin the Great.
Hyarkin the Great, of course, yes. I would be very honored to escort you around the city, Mr. Hyarkin the Great.
I whisper over to
Looking forward to
Erlan.
it.
Botius.
Just start giggling. Just start giggling.
Or
Are we
booty.
just going to snicker about his name
Yeah.
while he's not looking?
I'm going to figure out some more puns.
Nope.
Oh dear, does he hear
He
me?
doesn't hear what you said.
Okay.
He hears that you're snickering. Is like, ah.
Oh dear. As soon as he looks away, I look over at you two and start laughing as well.
I'm sure he's pretty
Well, it is wonderful to see that everyone has arrived in good spirits. I'm sure that, I mean, I'm aware that for some people, travel to the surface can be an unsettling affair. It's wonderful to see that you've all made it down here without too many frayed nerves. I hope the ride wasn't too uncomfortable for you all. I would love for a luxury elevator to have been prepared, but such a thing simply just doesn't exist.
I mean, I was quite terrified. I'm still shaking.
no problem for me.
Well, I can heartily recommend several good places where we can help you unwind, relax, perhaps something to eat or drink, perhaps a place to
This
rest.
tavern.
Can I ask him?
Tavern, yes.
To the tavern.
There are
can I ask
plenty
him?
that I can
Idea.
recommend to you. Yeah, what are you
Can I
going
ask
to
him how many trips is that elevator good for? Is it like a couple all and then it's
Well,
gone, or
That
is it in
particular
constant
elevator,
maintenance?
it is very much something that is constantly monitored as a very important part of our thriving economy down here in the keep of Duskwatch. Not Duskwatch, Bulwark. Duskwatch is an entirely different city. Please ignore me.
Who pays maintenance for it? Is it the guys above or is it you guys?
It is a coalition. It is half paid by the council, the Lunar Council that rules over the Citadel of the Moon, and by the king down here.
You have a king down here?
Yes, very much so. In fact, I'm very glad you asked because I have been asked to arrange a meeting with you all and the king tomorrow morning.
How many lifts are there?
Right,
Just
you-
sorry.
you
One last
requested
question
that.
about these lifts. They're very interesting to me. How many of them are there?
Yes, we have 6 lifts in operation. All of them are located here in the center of our trade districts. And from here, there is vast public transports that will allow goods to be transported around the city to wherever they need to be. And of course, passengers such as yourselves. I hope you don't mind. I've already taken the liberty of hailing a carriage so that you can ride in comfort.
Sure.
Wonderful. And I believe you mentioned that you wanted to go to a tavern, an inn.
To the king tomorrow.
Yes, of course. Bright and early. I promise I will ensure that you make it there safely. There are a few taverns that I could recommend to you there that are nearby. There is the Diamond Glass Bar, which is luxury restaurant, which many of the city's more affluent visitors often visit. Rooms have already been prepared for you in the lovely Egg Inn. I believe you'll find them to be very cozy.
Is it
Or
lovely
if-
egg in, or is it egg in?
Lovely Egg Inn.
Okay.
And
Sounds lovely.
if perhaps a more exciting venue is required for a bunch of very talented, skilled adventurers such as yourself, there is the Ruthless Spoon that can be found elsewhere in the city. I'd be very happy to guide you to any of them.
Getting tickled vibes.
It is a very lively clientele in the Ruthless Spoon, yes.
Hello.
Hello, Matt. So is
Matt.
there anywhere I can buy potions? Is there a...
Oh, yes, there very
Mm.
much is. I was told to recommend to you if that you have any need of magical goods, to recommend you to either Gareth's Glamorous Goodies or Virian's Anvil. Virian's Anvil is very useful for smithing needs. They are a very well-respected brand here within the city, and you'll find some of their goods mostly throughout all of the surface and the eastern skies.
And I want to come along to Virian's Anvil?
I'm a bit.
I wake up from my daydream and go, so what? What happened?
Of course. I mean, I'm assuming that like when everyone else was introduced, you also introduced yourself.
Yes, I had to go grab my tea, so I finished eating. So
Yes, of course, Miss Yolia. I apologize for running the conversation so quickly. I understand that in a new city, it's very easy to get distracted. Your compatriots were just discussing where they would like to go first in the city. I recommended a number of inns and taverns that you could go to. Your friend Ott, Mr. Fardhammock IDK, has asked to be taken to a place where he can buy magical goods. And there is two that I have been that I normally recommend to customers as important as yourself, and that would be Gareth's Glamorous Goodies, which is a magic shop where potions and magical items can be traded, and Virian's Anvil, which is an exceptionally skilled blacksmith. So, I mean, if it's entirely up to you people where you would like to go. I mean, I could just take you on a tour of the city, or we can go to anywhere in particular that you would like to see. So I should put on some
I feel
music
like-
for you. Hang on.
Let's go to somewhere where we can buy potions and the like to begin with.
Okay, just a moment. I'm just putting on some music. Sure. Da-da-da-da-da. Yep. So he will take you to Gareth's Glamorous Goodies, which is located here in Area 3, the Palatine Foundries. You are hailed a very luxurious carriage that is pulled by a horse. You see some that are pulled by nothing, which confuses you slightly. But this one is pulled by a horse and a professional driver, and it's all velvet interiors. The Palatine Foundries is, I mean, the whole place, the whole city glows. You hear about cities that never sleep, but here it must be literally impossible to sleep because everything glows. And everywhere seems very clean and prim and proper throughout the entire city, but this does seem to be a more built-up industrial area. you see like towers from which smoke rises, which you assume must be foundries and blacksmiths, and you are taken to a very large, very gaudily decorated, even by the standards of this city, shop. Outside, in cursive letters that glow neon pink via magical enchantment, is a sign that reads, Gareth's Glamorous Goodies. All are welcome.
I guess we go in then.
Yep. You are ushered in, and a little bell rings as you open the door, and a number of assistants who are stocking shelves all turn to see you, and Blottius waves at them jovially, and like whispers to one. I think probably any of you who have sharper hearing would say, he's asking to see the owner of the store. The very important clients have come to buy from him. And the assistant runs back behind the store, and moments later, a bright green-haired gnome walks out and places a step ladder behind the counter and climbs up, so he's like poking over the counter, and says, "Oh, welcome, welcome. My name is Gareth, and I'm very happy to welcome some apparently very important customers to my business. Please, please, come in, have a look at, I have many wares that you are very free to peruse. My own personal favorite is Gareth's apparatus over there." And he points to this huge barrel with like an open hatch in the side that you can climb in. It is only a display model, but you are free to try it out and see what you think of it. I mean, if there is anything that in particular that you are looking for, I'd be more than happy to assist you.
Just have a quick look
browsing.
around. I'm just looking around to places.
And there is all manner of magical trinkets here, and you've been to magic shops in this world before, and nothing seems to compare. You've seen powerful magic items, and a few of the items on the shelf you recognize as being similar to some of the ones that you own yourself, for example, immovable rods or decanters of endless water. But then there are things that just seem to radiate power, like much more powerful than anything that you've encountered up until now. And Gareth will see you browsing through magic items, Yolya, and will call out to you as, yes, miss, have you taken an interest in anything? I mean, if you would like to let me know what your price range is, there are a few items that I could recommend to you.
In curiosity over the more powerful ones, as more just what on earth are these, I ask him about the ones that seem to radiate a stronger magical aura.
Okay, so by far the most powerful magical aura is this apparatus, this barrel that he pointed to. You can feel some incredibly strong enchantment come from it. It's this one is my pride and joy. This is Gareth's apparatus. I made it myself. It's based on an old legend of some wizard who created it for a joke, but I thought, it just really captured my attention. If you'd like to climb in, I'd love to demonstrate what it does.
Do it.
Sure.
Okay,
I'm hesitant to get in, but
you climb into the barrel, and there's a little
Don't break it.
stairway. And there are 6 levers on the wall, each of them numbered 1 to 6.
What did the levers do?
I heartily recommend you try them out. Logan needs to get out the Dungeon Master's Guide.
Okay, I'm gonna randomly choose one from 1 to 6. So 1 second.
I will double check that it's 6, but hang on. There it is. Sorry, it's 10.
Oh, okay.
My mistake.
I will do that again. I pull lever 9.
Okay. The apparatus rumbles but doesn't seem to do anything, and Gareth says, yes, unfortunately the apparatus is currently submerged in liquid, but this would cause it to either sink or raise. You would prefer. If you lower the lever, it sinks, and if you raise the lever, it will raise out of the liquid it is submerged in.
Oh, okay. I'd try a different one.
Okay.
I pull 4 instead.
Okay, awesome. 2 claws extend from the front of the apparatus like pincers.
See this happen, I'm like, Jesus, does it come close to anyone's head?
Yeah, I jumped back in fear.
Yeah. A couple of the assistants have been clearing the area around the apparatus, knowing
Are you-
that this happens from time to time.
I'm just
Do
like,
you-
what on earth is that?
Do you win whatever you can grab?
I'm pretty certain I have to pay for whatever I destroy more like.
For me, I'm afraid, sir.
I pull that one so that the pincers go back into their normal position.
They do, they return. And as well, you're inside the barrel.
Okay.
It's not like the claws come into the barrel. They just seem to disappear into it, like there's some enchantment there.
And there's nothing else to it.
Like, it seemed mechanical when they popped out, but there's nowhere for them to go. Like, things can't just vanish. Well, they can just vanish. That's how magic works. But it's clearly not just a mechanical invention. This is a very powerful magic item.
I pull lever 2 just out of curiosity.
Wonderful. A window in the front of the barrel opens up.
I just like pop my head up. Hi guys.
I'm just waving back at you. Are you having fun in there?
I don't know what's happening.
As you are playing with it, Gareth steps up and says, would you like a demonstration of the apparatus in operation? And he waddles up and, using his stepladder, raises himself to lever number 1 and pulls it, and legs and a tail extend, allowing the apparatus to walk and swim. And he begins to maneuver it around the shop, making it scuttle around like some sort of strange robotic lobster. The apparatus is actually, in legend, it was designed as a submersible exploration vehicle, but I thought it was just a quite fun thing to use. It is very usable as a vehicle and very armored. It's very pricey, I'm afraid. At 60,000 gold pieces, I couldn't accept less for it. This is my pride and joy, after all, but I do so enjoy it. I do so love to demonstrate it.
After hearing the price, I'm like, oh, and I step away from the thing
Very
quite
carefully step
quickly
back.
and carefully.
Oh, you needn't worry. This thing is very difficult to destroy. I've put a lot of work into the durability, and slaps it with his hand, and there's a loud clang somewhere inside it, and he takes his hand away.
Okay.
He pulls the relevant levers to return it to its position and pop the claws and the legs back in, and close the window and return it to its original position. I can show you a picture of the apparatus if you'd like.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah, I'll put it in the Facebook chat.
Why not the Discord chat?
Because then I'd have to get it on my computer.
Oh no, going on your phone. Ah!
There we go. I don't have Discord on my phone.
What's a phone?
Hell
What
yeah,
on earth
that's
is that?
awesome. That is awesome. Crab.
It's a crab.
Did it play Crab Rave in like Steam?
It could do if you were skilled enough.
Damn it.
It can do the like snapping part of it.
So yeah, I just continue to look around in the meantime,
Of course. And
and I allow others to do what they need to.
yeah, in the meantime, he wanders up to someone else, if there's anyone else who wants to play. wants to bargain. Don't all volunteer at once, guys.
So you guys are bored. Come on, do something.
Yeah.
Let's-
Show me some of the more interesting magical items that he's got on display.
I want to pull all the levers.
Okay. You pull the levers and the apparatus pops out legs and scuttles around and
All at once.
snips at things with its claws. But there seems to be safety measures put in place so you can't destroy the shop. And the assistants are not going to do much to stop you so much as just stay out of your way.
Can I ride around on it?
Yeah, you can ride in it.
Nice. I want to climb up the walls.
It doesn't have the ability to climb walls.
Damn.
You can scuttle and skitter at the walls, clang against them.
Just sit at it for the next 5 hours, just trying to get it up.
Like watching someone play Skyrim for the first time.
Oh dear, that's going to be me.
So is there anyone else who would like to do anything?
I think everyone should try, just in case it responds specifically to a person.
No. I'm not
gonna
getting that.
Some time here. This wasn't designed for any of you. It's a
So-
fun little sideshow.
Yeah, what are the other wacky stuff we can have a look at?
He gains a slightly more business-like smile and loses some of his jovialness at showing off his toys to you. It's like,
Oh,
well,
I
if
really
you're
enjoyed
looking-
that.
Well, it's his favorite invention. You know, he wants to show it off to people. It's, well, if you're looking for powerful magical items, there is a few items of a quite high price. I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to accept less than 750 gold pieces for any of them. But a staff of swarming insects, and he presents to you this golden staff, and at the head of it is a scarab beetle. There is also a rope of entanglement. All you need to do is throw it at someone, and it will instantly tie them up. Very useful for, arresting people or,
How much?
subduing people without causing significant harm to them. For those among you who are of a more magical persuasion, I do have this. He pulls out a small velvet case and opens it to show a beautiful golden ring. It is a ring of spell storing. It allows a magic user to store a spell within the ring, which then can be cast by whoever wears the ring. It could allow someone who is not a magic user to cast a spell, or it could allow a magic user to cast more spells without suffering exhaustion. I have a few items that are a little bit cheaper, if that is outside of your interest or your price range. But, clearly, just tell me if there is anything that does take your fancy.
I like the sound of that entanglement thing. How much is it?
Of course, the rope of entanglement. Now, it is quite a valuable item. I'm afraid it would run you 750 gold pieces for it, but it is a very powerful item.
I think he's screwing us over. Bit of rope. 700 gold pieces for a bit of rope.
I can assure you, there is an item in my shop that is nearly a bit of rope, my friend. Of course, on top of my magical artifacts, I also have many potions. Should adventurous types such as yourselves be looking to resupply on such things. I, of course, have your standard healing potions. I have a few potions of growth that could allow someone to enlarge their form and become more physically powerful. A potion of mind reading that for a brief time would grant one the ability to read minds. Or one of my favorites is the potion of invisibility. I'm sure I don't need to explain to you what that one does, but it is very useful if you ever find yourself in a position that you cannot get out of using normal methods.
That does sound useful. How much is it for that one?
Well, for any of those, my special edition potions, those would be 175 gold pieces apiece. I also have some cheaper magic items, and I do have some standard potions of healing and potions of greater healing available at industry, standard rates, the same as you would find anywhere. That would be 50 gold pieces for a potion of greater healing and 25 for a potion of healing.
It's like the end of an advert.
Well,
T's and T's.
No refunds. T's and C's apply.
I'm sure you've all been to several magic shops by now. You'll find that my prices are very competitive.
It's our first, actually.
Well,
No, no.
Well, first here.
I'm very honoured to have been your first magic shop here. I can assure you, you have no need to go anywhere else.
Can
Or
I
we go
pop
somewhere else.
open like the equivalent of like a really cheap bottle of lager in there and just start swirling it? And I just kind of like accidentally like dripping bits every so often. So the floor's like a bit wet, but not enough to like get the mop out,
Interestingly enough, the floor cleans itself.
God damn, that's impressive.
He, when you
For the
remark
floor.
that, he beams out. He's like, "Yes, another work of my own. This shop is actually very heavily enchanted by myself. It's very important to me that I provide a pleasant environment for shopping."
Enchant the bard. Same way you enchant the floor.
I mean, it's possible to enchant inanimate objects. I could enchant his clothing for a price. It would take some time to do so as well.
I'm going to whisper we should hold him hostage and get him to enchant a load of things.
Use his own rope on him.
Yeah. Can I take a closer look at that rope?
Guys, we're brand new to a city, and
Yeah.
we're
At least
trying
wait
to
until
we're
we've-
trying to rob a place.
At least wait until we've visited the king first.
Yeah.
One of the employees of the place sidles towards the apparatus, and the claws pop out of it.
So their security as well.
Slurp, slurp.
Again, the floor continues to clean itself as the stains vanish.
This place is boring. Where's the tavern?
I don't really
Well,
have anything
sir.
to buy. Yeah.
Well, sir, perhaps
Yeah, I might buy the invisibility potion. How much was that again?
that would be 175 gold pieces, sir.
Ooh. Would you do 150?
Ooh,
Barter.
I
Hmm,
suppose. I mean,
I mean,
you have
we are
been-
special guests after all.
of course, I would hate to upset special guests. I tell you what, I mean, I could perhaps, yes, I suppose for you, I could reduce it to 150.
Okay, you've got a deal.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. And he snaps his fingers, and one of the storekeepers runs off to fetch your potion of invisibility.
Thank you.
You
What
just add
loser.
that- You can
I'm
add
not going to
that
use
to
it straight
your
away.
inventory, and it essentially, when you drink it, it casts the spell invisibility.
Excellent.
Imagine needing a potion for it.
Lol.
Slurp, slurp.
So, as you continue to make noises, Erlan, he says to you, "Well, perhaps there is something I could interest you with." And he walks over to one of the stands and spins it around, revealing a beautiful lute strung with what appears to be golden strings. This is the DOS lute, otherwise called the Instrument of the Bards. Using it allows one to cast certain magical spells, and will actually empower your own magical spells as well.
How
It's-
much are we talking about?
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't part with it. Cheaply, perhaps 400 gold pieces.
Yeah, well, I've only got 100 gold. So maybe once we've made our money here, I'll come back and get this
Of course, sir.
beautiful looking loot.
Of course, sir. I shall make sure to keep you in mind should any other customers express an interest in it. I will warn you, we are quite a popular store, though. There
I'll be
are
back.
there are a few other items which may interest some of the people in your group. A pearl of power, and he seems to just produce this one from thin air. Using this pearl, one can restore their own magical energies. Essentially allows you to regain a spell slot once per day, up to 3rd level. I also have this, and it is a lantern of revealing, which is in a display case, this eerie green glowing lantern that never seems to go out. This will reveal the presence of any invisible creatures in the area of it. And one of my personal favorites is the Helm of Telepathy. And he produces this very steampunk, brass, full face helmet with goggles. And says, wearing this will allow you to send telepathic messages to people and also to read the minds of those you concentrate on.
Yoga with the lantern of
Revealing,
Revealing?
of course. Yes.
after how well his fight went last time.
Well, yes, I mean, I'm sure people such as yourself, there are many uses for being able to see that which wishes to remain unseen.
What are the price ranges of these?
Well, for those items that I just mentioned to you, I would. My standard pricing would be 400 gold pieces apiece. I mean, you've seen already that I'm a reasonable man. I can be negotiated with, of course. I'd be very happy to strike a bargain with any of you. You all seem like wonderful sorts.
I'm not interested.
Oh, well, that is terribly disappointing, madam. It really does harm my heart to hear you say that. But I hope you shall think on me when you do find yourself in need of such items. And hopefully, if you are able to return alive, you will be able to hopefully have the money to purchase that which you need from us in future.
You
What
can
is this?
arrange a deal with Lord Duskwatch. We are quite. He is funding.
Of course.
Keep putting out a lot. I can't hear.
I mean-
Keeps going out.
She
do I?
is
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah, but she essentially said that you know, you have a sponsorship deal with Duskwatch, and maybe he could arrange a deal to get you some stuff for cheap.
I'm gonna start caressing the golden loot in the corner.
Whispering.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
It's just like soon you'll be mine.
It really, like, to you as a musician and someone who knows a lot about musical instruments, it seems just like a work of art to you.
I can't afford it and I'm stealing.
I would like to see you try. They don't leave valuable magic items out without security. What I'm saying is you need to diamond heist this.
Diamond heisted. Do we have to do 10 hours of setups?
Yeah,
It could be the
obviously.
next 10 sessions.
Ugh,
Rob has PTSD.
it's just giving me a headache thinking about it.
Okay. So, if no one, you know, has anything that they would like, you are, you know, he's happy with the one sale he's made. He will again recommend healing potions to you if you are not already stocked up.
I think I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Wonderful.
I'll be back.
I'm sure you will, sir. I see you've taken quite a fancy to the DOS loot, and I'd be very, very happy to provide it to you at a competitive rate.
Right, off to the tavern with us.
He's really trying his best.
Mm-hmm.
No sale.
I thought you bought an invisibility, didn't you?
Yeah,
He-
you bought
he's
a
got-
potion of
Yeah,
invisibility.
you got...
He got 150 gold out of you guys. That's not bad for 20 minutes of work.
yeah, man.
Um,
Shop and it'll be on sale for 50.
So,
Do you own a transparent blue N64 in here?
uh, I do, but it's actually part of my own personal collection. It's not for
The
sale.
yellowed on the underneath.
Fucking
No,
collectors.
I do. I actually resolved that issue myself. You'd be amazed at what magic can do these days.
My God, you need to tell me all your secrets.
But first, you need to spend centuries in training to become an expert enchanter.
Oh, I don't have that much spare time.
That's very unfortunate. You'll have to buy one from me for 1,000 gold pieces.
Fucking collectors shoving the price up, assholes.
Scalper.
I'm surprised when we asked for potions that you just didn't tell us that your potions were too powerful for us.
No, he does not brew potions that are not fit for man or beast. Potion seller.
You know what? I'm gonna make a new character which is proficient in making potions and just flog them off for like dirt cheap, but only in bulk.
Okay.
I mean, you could sell fake potions like that. That's how Matt's last character.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Potion seller.
Sold glitter water.
It was great. Also very collectible.
Of course, yes. They have seasonal
collector's
versions of the glitter water.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get the standard, then you got to get the deluxe, then you get the gold edition, and then the collector's edition at the end. So there's a lot to go collect for.
Mm-hmm. So once you exit the store, Blotius returns to you, wringing his hands nervously again, and says, "Wonderful, wonderful. I'm very glad to see. I hope you found what you were searching for there. Sir Hyarkin, the great and powerful. I see that you have procured a new item.
I have indeed. Very happy with it too.
Wonderful, wonderful. I certainly hope that you will continue to have as many pleasant experiences in our lovely city. Is there anywhere else that you would like me in particular to lead you? Anywhere that you would particularly like to see? He provides a map that has labels for what places are called. Essentially, the map that you're looking at right now.
Archery range. I want to train while I'm in the city.
Well, of course, there is the Bulwark Dragon's Keep. That is where a lot of our military presence is. And I'm sure that for a price, you could be allowed access to the training range. I'm sure that allies of Lord Duskwatch could certainly find their way in there if you would like to hone your skills.
Is there any way, out of curiosity, Logan, that we can actually make us any more likely to roll higher, or like getting a plus modifier for anything?
So your modifiers are based on like your core stats and your proficiency bonus. That goes up as you level up.
Oh, okay, so this wouldn't make any difference.
But if there is a weapon that you are not currently proficient in that you would like to become proficient in, then you can train to do that. But it's not
it's not a quick process.
It takes a lot more than one day. It's not a quick process.
Sure.
You can't master archery in a day. I think you were already.
Watch me.
Yeah, I think I'm already
proficient
proficient with bows. Yeah.
You would need to increase your dexterity or level up more to get a more good modifier.
Okay.
Or magic items. Braces of archery, for example, which I'm sure that Gareth's Glamorous Goodies would be happy to provide for you, would give you a bonus to hit with archery.
Sounds like you're trying to sell us steroids.
I have an item that will make you better.
It wouldn't be cheap, though, sir. How much wood braces of archery were you on? Just because I have all of the magic items out right now. Braces of archery, uncommon. It's not super expensive.
Cool.
You could sell it to you for 400 gold pieces.
Fudge. I don't have that much. That's more than.
That's very disappointing, sir. Perhaps there would be something that you would like to trade for it?
Can I barter?
Well, I've seen that you have several magic items of your own, or alternatively, if you would like to name a price, perhaps we can come to an arrangement between us.
What takes your interest?
What would you have that you'd be willing to barter with, sir?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I've got some paintings.
Look at the empty bag. Yeah, good point. What am I to barter with?
Yeah, exactly. I've got some paintings you might be interested in there. But,
well, I'm sure that they are very lovely, but we are an establishment that deals in magical trinkets. Perhaps if you were to go to a general store or an art gallery, they might be willing to purchase your paintings from you.
Okay, actually, look, this magical detonator stone is not of much use to us anymore, is it?
You're right, but it is an enchanted item that he could perceivably come to some use of. It's not a very powerful artifact. He would only be willing to trade a few, like 10 gold for it.
And there's no chance that I'll be able to deceive him into thinking it's a bit better than actually
It's not this guy. He knows his enchantments.
Yeah. Do you think one of the other non-Gareth's glamorous goodies locations would be more stupid enough
It's
to...
a chain.
What?
Is Gareth good? He's a chain.
Unfortunately, we've not had the opportunity to franchise as of yet. We are looking into opportunities elsewhere within the world.
I mean, like, so another emporium of this nature, are there any of them likely to have a seller more stupid or less smart to the trading?
You would probably have to find someone who is much less good at enchanting if you expect to deceive someone on the nature of what an enchantment is.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I-
Do you know any?
There are certainly all sorts of people. I mean, various enchanters hire apprentices. That's what a lot of the staff in Gareth's Emporium were. They are apprentices who are still learning. If you could find someone who is an apprentice and separate them from their master, perhaps they could be deceived.
So I suppose you've got any apprentices, do you?
Of course I do. They are staffing my shop at the moment, teaching them everything I know. One day there will be so many incredible enchanters, and I will usher us into a new golden age of incredible magic.
And franchising. Splendid.
And franchising. A lot of wealth to be had in magical items, I'm sure you're aware. It's
I take one of...
a time-consuming process to create them, but also very profitable once you do.
Can I take one of his... what do you call them?
What?
Can I take one of them aside to try and sell them?
One of the apprentices.
Apprentices, yeah.
Uh-huh. I mean, they've just seen you trying to flog it to this guy. Like, they know what it's worth.
Is there anyone...
You would have to find an apprentice elsewhere.
Damn it. I mean, like, is there anyone in the back that hasn't been listening?
I think with the amount of ruckus you guys have caused, particularly when you tried to climb the walls with the apparatus before, I think you have people's attention, Robert.
Damn it, okay.
I could morph you into like a lion. And then they'd be like, oh shit. But they'd
Wait,
probably
you
have
can morph
detect
people?
magic, wouldn't they?
Almost
Yeah, it's one of my spells.
Oh, nice.
polymorph, yeah.
Polymorph, yeah. I could make you into a lion, but they'd probably notice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, who's going to buy a magic item off a lion?
No, he's gonna scare them away.
A very
He'll be
threatening
like,
one.
Oh, of course.
he'll be like,
Buy it or-
"Grrr."
Yeah, buy it or I'm going to burn this place to the ground.
Um,
Or
Can't
they'll
lie.
run off and then
Not
you won't
that,
get
not
a
that I'm
sale
going to
anyway.
do that. I mean, like, that's the sort of person who would answer to
I
the line.
see.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm done here. I've got nothing. I don't need anything.
Yeah, let's go to the tavern, guys.
At the moment, I may be back, sirs, if I do need
Okay.
anything.
Well,
else.
I eagerly await your return there, sir. And yeah, once again, Blotius will list the taverns that he recommends. There is the Diamond Glass Bar, which is a luxury restaurant. You already have rooms prepared at the lovely Egg Inn. and there is the Ruthless Spoon if you're looking for a more lively and varied clientele.
Spoon, spoons, spoons.
Spoons.
Okay,
Why did I get that was the feeling?
don't worry, the Dungeon Master did as well. So, Plotius seems mildly disappointed that he doesn't get to go to the Ritz, but nonetheless, he does dutifully guide you. It's actually quite near to the area. It's on the border between the Palatine Foundries and the Beacon Center, which is probably about here. And you come in, and it's like in and like crammed in between two like factories almost. And there's like wagons constantly going in like all around this place. It's difficult just to get to it, but eventually you muscle your way through, and you are greeted to the sound of smashing glass as something is thrown across the room, and cheering people as they laugh at whoever just managed to heat their drink into a wall. Someone picks themselves up off the floor, embarrassed, brushes themselves off, and storms out of the room. And no one even really seems to notice you enter, as strange a group as you are.
I'm going to continue to stealth to make sure no one notices me.
Why
I'm
didn't you
I'm
want
gonna
anyone to
sorry.
notice you?
I don't know. I don't like to be seen all the time.
But aren't the rest of us with you as well?
I'm near you. I'm keeping an eye on where you are.
Okay.
You can make a stealth check to try and not so much like hide unseen, but to remain unremarkable and unnoticed.
Yeah. 22.
Okay, yeah, sure. You just blend into the crowds, and even your own allies would have trouble picking you up. And I mean, you can hear again all sorts of conversations, and you're able to pick up on little tidbits of local gossip. People talking about how one of the court wizards has been missing for a week. Talks about rumblings from the Deep Terror. Talks about strange lights to the east. And nothing substantial, and no one seems to have any answers, but people like to gossip, and you being able to sneak in and insinuate yourself into crowds and pick up on thieves' cant and double speak, you're able to glean pieces of information. What else would anyone else like to do?
How much would it cost to buy a round of drinks for everyone in this room?
Well, this is a very crowded place, but it's also not a very expensive establishment. Probably for everyone in the room, like just buying a round of beer or something, you could do it for 15 to 20 gold.
Right. So I'm going to stand on the table and get my loot out, and I'm going to go, "Ladies and gentlemen, do not be scared. We are the Fate Touch to save the day. We've come to dance and sing and drink. Let's get the party started. And it's all on this freak." And I'm going to put a yo-yo. and then
I'm
then
all-
Amazing.
I literally see him do that and point and say no and walk out. I'm just
a
like,
performance check.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, people are pretty willing to have a drink bought for them, so they all cheer for a moment, and then Yolya walks out, and you hear someone go, "Oi, where'd she go? She's
Don't
in
worry,
the tent."
friend. Here we go. And I'm just going to throw 20 gold at the fucking poor barmaiden.
And she yells out, "Okay, everyone, something ale for everybody. Come and get it."
Yeah,
Yay!
something ale.
And
I'm
some
happy I
people,
left.
some people boo at the prospect of something ale, but some strange people cheer.
Is something ale from campaign 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Ale
Yeah,
that you had, that was literally had a piece of shit in it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I was going to
God.
say, yeah, I remember that.
Do we have to roll to see whether there's something inside our drinks or not?
Do we need to roll a Constitution saving throw?
Yeah.
Roll a d20, sure, just roll something.
Okay.
The 10?
2. Oh, 2. Great.
3.
Well, Erlan and Hierarchin, something smells a little bit off about your drink when you drink it, and you do feel a little bit queasy afterwards, and you're not sure that's just from the alcohol. Erlan, of course, you're a seasoned alcoholic by this point, so you're used to stomaching worse, but there was something pretty gross about that one. Oh, so you're not really 100% sure one way or the other.
I'm gonna give it a small sip, a taster.
It doesn't taste good. It's not a tasty beer.
I'm gonna put it on the table next to a group of people, hoping that they pick it up.
And then
take it
I'm
themselves.
gonna perception. Can I do a perception check to see if I can spot it?
Yeah. Just roll a perception check.
What do I need
Hell
to roll?
yeah, 12.
I guess sleight of hand.
24.
God damn it!
Literally doubled.
The
I mean,
perfect hide.
This is literally what like your character is good at.
A
Is
+7.
stealth and stuff. Yeah. So just like 1 second he is holding a full tankard, and the next second he's holding an empty tankard, and like he must have drank the whole thing. Impressive.
I wipe my mouth and like, delicious.
You can have the rest of mine if you want.
Belly.
I will take it off you, kind friend.
I like the idea that Erlan is just flitting between conversations, just scumming free drinks off people.
Now that I've made friends with everyone, I'm gonna go and sit down and talk about the missing magistrate. Is it, or the
Missing wizard.
missing wizard? Yeah, I'm gonna sit down and go. So there's missing wizard, huh? What's happening with that?
Yeah. So I mean, like you've been a very social person for a long time. You know a member of a thieves guild when you see one, and you've certainly sat down next to such a person wearing an eye patch, and he's like triple your size, and he looks down at you and beams at you. It's like, oh, you're the something ale guy. Yeah. I mean, we don't really know what that is, and like, we're information people, so it's kind of up in the air at the minute. It still needs investigating. But yeah, his daughter's really worried about him. He keeps petitioning the king to search for him. But yeah, he used to do a lot of research into the Silver Guardian, but it's gone. We reckon he might have gone out on an expedition and just hasn't come back yet, or he's got into trouble and he's died in a ditch somewhere.
You wouldn't know where this fair maiden is.
His daughter, yeah. I mean, they've got a house up in the what's it called? The garden place, the Veiled Gardens.
Fantastic,
That's
kind sir.
really, really high value property there, because they do a lot of work for the king. You see.
Thank you, kind sir. Enjoy your ale, and I'm going to go back to the others and just be like, yeah, I've got some information for us.
Fate-touched fella.
Ah, fantastic. I'm going to go over and just report what I know now to the others.
Mm-hmm. So
It seems like a good quest line.
You've gained information on a potential quest for yourselves, and you've heard the name Silver Guardian, which doesn't ring a bell to any of you.
With my Pact to the Fiend, damn it. What's it called? Being able to listen in on
Just being a rogue and like knowing thieves' camp and such
Thieves'
things.
Camp,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Mhm.
Is there any rumblings of deals going on that I can hear?
Certainly in this place, this is a place that is frequented by all sorts of people, working men and those who normally wish to go unseen. And unless you were able to understand Thieves' Camp, which you are, you would just assume that all of these are normal conversation about the weather and current happenings. But you know better. You're able to read in between the lines and pick up on what's really being said. And yeah, there are various dealings, people dealing in stolen goods, stolen Nifril in particular. There is one shipment, which, like, it doesn't seem like the people talking about the Mithril are very excited about it. It seems quite commonplace here. But they say that it might be more valuable up in the sky.
I want to get involved on this dealing of Mithril.
Okay. How would you like to insinuate yourself into the conversation?
So I'm gonna. Oh, actually, I want to morph, but I can't. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna
Do you want me
get.
to, do you want me to
haven't
morph
done
Yeah,
you?
I want you to morph me because
Cool.
you don't know I can morph. So can you
What
just
do you want to
morph
be
me?
morphed into?
Oh.
Remember, Matt can only turn you into beasts with polymorph. I don't know if you have another.
Let me have a check. Yeah.
Ooh.
Uh,
Ogre. Is ogre a thing?
ogre.
Ogres,
The
ogres
best thing
are
to
a
do.
thing.
I like how the best thing you thought of was an ogre. To
I'm
make people
sorry.
trust
I just
you.
want to watch Shrek. Okay.
I mean, I need to look up whether that counts. It might be a.
It has to be a
giant,
creature.
so-
Yeah.
I mean,
It just says
creature.
creature. Creature is a very broad term.
All right, let's look at what this.
I'm not gonna change into like a sheep. And
Could
start
turn into a
talking.
sheep. You absolutely could.
So the
No, not
transformation-
for this.
It's equal to the creature. It can't speak, yeah, so there's no point.
Hang on.
Oh really?
Yeah, it can't speak, unfortunately. Says on the spell.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I could do to communicate though? Even if I can't
Sign
speak.
language. You could write. Don't really know why you think an ogre would be more easy to speak to than a person, but well, I'm not even sure because there's probably a limit to the challenge rating as well. I don't know what challenge rating an ogre is. I'm reading the spell now, but it's really long. Just special situation. Challenge rating is equal to less than the target's level. I don't know. I doubt an ogre is challenge rating 6. Is challenge rating 8? Let me check. Cobalt Fight Club. Oh yeah, ogres are only challenge rating 2. You could totally turn into one.
You know what? I'm gonna stay in my normal form. Gonna try anyway. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna slide up to the table and say, you know, I just overheard that there might be some. Was it Mithril? Wasn't it?
Mithril, yes.
Yeah. Being a shipment being shipped around somewhere. Is there any chance I can?
The two people who are discussing this take one look at you and bolt for the door.
Oh shit! Do I chase? Shall I chase them? Yeah, I might chase them.
Do you want to chase them?
Yeah, but I probably won't
Okay.
go very far.
I mean, you are probably faster on foot than they are. Like, you're a rogue and you can dash as a bonus action, so.
Yeah, screw it. I'll dash. Yeah.
So yeah, if you wanted to, you can catch up to them. I don't think like any attempt they would make to hide would be particularly effective against you, because I just don't think that they'll be fast enough to break line of sight with you. And these aren't particularly skillful rogues themselves. So they like, you're chasing after them, they're like, "Get lost, cop, we got nothing to say to you."
I'm no cop. If I
Yeah,
was,
we believe that.
if I was the cop, then you sure I wouldn't be approaching you in a bar?
Absolutely you would. Happens all the time. That's how my mate Sammy got pinched.
Well, I'm nothing like. Well, you're nothing like your friend Sammy. I'm one
That's
of you
not
guys.
true. He's my twin brother. I'm exactly like him. Oh, well, I shouldn't have told you that.
Your twin? You sure?
No, I
Overalls
don't
is
have a
one
twin.
after you?
Nope, not me. No, you're thinking of someone else.
Okay. Well,
We were just having a lovely discussion about the weather, sir. Nothing to say about any mithril. The word was never even mentioned, I'm afraid. You must have the wrong people. And with that pause in the conversation, once again, they try and run away.
I'm gonna leave him to it because
Okay.
I don't want to stray too far from the party.
Okay. So they disappear into the alleyways of the Palatine Foundries. And I guess you return to the Ruthless Spoon.
Back to the spoon.
Okay, what have the rest of you been doing? What has Hyarkin been doing? I imagine he's probably pretty out of his comfort zone here.
Maybe being sick after that horrible drink that I just had.
Oh, you drank it? Okay.
Yeah, I drank the whole thing.
Okay. Well,
And I was trying to fit in, and then
You are brave man, this one.
it didn't agree with me at all.
well, one of the patrons is like rubbing your back and hands you a glass of water. It's like, I drink this, it'll make you feel better. Don't. No one ever actually drinks it. The trick is, you're supposed to look like you're drinking it, and you pour it away secretly. It's part of a game we all play. It's to make a joke out of new fellas like you. To be honest, it's a little bit cruel, but it's quite funny, ain't it?
I'm just groaning in pain.
So, you must have really had a bad batch. It's not normally this bad, mate. I feel bad for you. I mean, everyone's fallen for it once, but it wasn't that bad for me, mate.
Do you have any potato-based snacks for me?
Well, I tell
to
you
make me
what,
feel better?
I do have, and he pulls out a small packet of potato chips. Potato, sorry, and hands it to you, and it's just a bag of mashed potato, and it's cold
Oh, lovely.
and stale, but you know it's edible.
There's nothing chispy about it, is there?
No, it's a misnomer.
I don't know what to do now. I'll just sit there on the floor eating my bag of mashed potato.
Your bag of potato. People give you a wide berth, and a couple of people snicker when they look at you, seeing that you fell for the oldest trick in the book, the old something ale trick.
Who else had some apart from me that's still here?
You're the only
Me.
one.
I had
Me.
some.
Yeah, but I think you are seasoned at drinking awful things. I think
Go on, have a drink. I'm going to come up
People-
behind. I'll massage his shoulders and be like,
people
"Go on,
probably
just
watch
have a drink, just have
Erlach
a
in
drink."
amazement as he's stomached not one but 2 tankards of something ale now, and is offering people more. And people begin to whisper about him.
I think, I'm going to start like massaging him, just be like, just have a drink. Just a little drink. A little drink,
Come on,
Yarkin.
just a little drink, it'll make you feel better. I promise. This one's not something ale. Wink.
Yeah.
I feel like using my invisibility potion and running away.
You'd have to try and keep it down.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is Risu doing at the moment?
Not
You were
drinking?
not served something ale.
I thought so.
She's too young.
They have rules. Even
Yeah.
this irreputable establishment will not serve children alcohol.
I think I've just been sat on a stool watching everybody
Yeah.
get up
Just-
to their end.
Swinging
I
your
mean-
legs, watching the chaos.
Yeah. Nobody even offered me any juice or anything, so.
Just potato snack if you want.
Yeah, the barmaid who Erland threw money at previously comes over and brings you a glass of apple juice. It's like, I'm terribly sorry if we've been inattentive to you, madam. Are your parents anywhere? Should you be here at this time? Would you like me to call someone?
My
I
parents.
mean, literally call, because we don't have phones. But
Guys are my guardians.
I'm
ones
so
that-
sorry. Oh,
Thank you.
oh no.
Yeah,
They
we
even
didn't
make
do
you carry their bows and swords. Oh, are you okay?
The bow's mine.
That's even
And-
worse.
It's just my way of life.
It's like with the Grim Reaper from fucking whatchamacallit, you give the sword to the child. It's like, why would you give it like it's for a valuable lesson? What if he hurt himself? And he has learned a valuable lesson.
So, what has Yolya been doing?
I mean, I walked out of the pub as soon as I saw that
Well, you
Erland
saw
point
our-
towards.
Bolt out a few minutes later, chasing some guys, shouting about Mithril. And
I
then
just
he's
watched that happen and like, what?
yeah, and then a few minutes later, he returns, hands in his pocket,
I look at him and say, I guess I didn't want to talk about Mithril then.
I got nothing. I think the thing on my cup. I'm not gonna. I'm more likely
I mean,
to
you
mug
kind
them
of
than
just-
arrest them.
I look at him and say, I mean, you have to understand, you're a random person who randomly comes up to them and asks them about some illegal shit. What do you
Yeah,
think's
but
gonna
we're
happen?
speaking a specific language. Never
Hey,
mind,
you
you wouldn't
didn't tell
understand.
me you were speaking in Thieves' Cant.
What?
You didn't tell me you were speaking in Thieves' Cant, Robert.
Oh,
Yeah, it's too late
oh,
now.
so I thought. Never mind. I was trying to do that. That's why I was confused why it didn't go my way. But sure,
Ah.
never mind.
Well, that might have had an influence on it
Yeah.
if you had.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know.
So basically, knowing that he hadn't actually done that, I'm like, maybe you should have spoke to them in that whatever language you use.
I just didn't realise he was talking normally.
Sorry, it's like when those, bilingual people sometimes just use the wrong language.
Yeah.
I start talking to him in like, as I'm saying stuff, I start mixing between the three languages I know, which is Common, Elven, and bloody Vassalatul.
I mean, you probably understand the Elven stuff, maybe? I don't know what you know.
I call him an idiot in Primordial.
Okay. Primordial is this series of guttural, growls and grunts. You think he might have something stuck in his throat.
I just look at him and go, and then like, that was bizarre.
Then I say it in
Anyway.
Orc. I say idiot in Orc as well.
Okay. I mean, Orc, it sounds kind of like fantasy German, I think.
Fantasy German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
German, but not actual German. It just sounds similar, has a similar structure.
Bloody hell. In the meantime, then I don't even know. I just like literally walked back out and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking buying everyone a drink.
Fine, goddamn drink, fucking trick me into this just because I beat you up one time. Okay, so I mean, what else would people like to do? You've been to the tavern. You can play here some more, or
Go
you
to the
can
king?
explore. I mean, your meeting with the
Morning.
king is in the morning.
Oh, in
but
the
you
morning.
could-
Okay,
you
I'm
could
gonna
retire
get
to
a
your
good night's
rooms.
rest.
I was
Or
gonna
we
say,
could,
yeah.
I'm
we
going to
could
carry
double
on. in
check
the
out
pub.
that high class tavern instead.
No, I'm staying at this dog shit one. I like this
Have
one now.
I say we go back to wherever we got those rooms organised for us, probably because it's easier.
Yeah.
One thing does happen actually
Nice,
that I
it's
should
something, isn't it?
mention is Blotius comes up to Erland Chaddington and hands him back the 20 gold that he spent on buying a thing for everyone, and says, Lord Duskwatch has promised he'll be covering expenses related to food for you.
Hell yes.
And
I'm going to
drink?
stay in the pub then.
Food and drink?
Of course. It's part of his sponsorship agreement with you.
Make this agreement, guys. Pretty sure we steered clear away from this agreement.
Am I
Great.
next to Chaddington?
Sure, you can be in the pub if you want. You can go back inside.
I'm not even gonna bother. Too embarrassed to go back in.
Okay.
After chasing some random people out.
After failing to talk in Thieves' Cant.
Yeah.
Or ashamed that you've been referred to as a policeman.
Hmm. That's right, you're now known as a narc. So,
Damn it.
okay.
Let's get
So,
a night's
what
rest.
would you like to do? You going to retire for the evening?
Yeah, I think so.
See ya.
So whatever that, what was the something egg, whatever it was called.
Yes, there is the Lovely Egg
That's
Inn.
it.
Rooms
Yeah.
have already been purchased for you. They are very much in the center of the Shining Hub, which is this very pristine, very beautiful, extremely gaudy section of the city, which seems to be a nightlife section even now. And I think it's probably only like early afternoon. people are already starting to filter into the area, and beginning to make merry as their shifts end. And there's something strange about this city where no one seems to work on a normal time scale because there is no rising and setting of the sun down here on the surface. People just seem to work and sleep as their body clocks dictate, and as a result, people are acting, people are blind drunk in mid-morning, even without being alcoholics. So it's not unusual for you to be partying this early, even in in the Ruthless Spoon. And when you return to the lovely Egg Inn, no one questions if you would like to retire to your rooms. They just assume, well, it must be the end of a long day for you. The place is it is a very nice place. It's well decorated, and it's not so much gaudy as it is cozy. There is home cooked food available, and just like plush rooms with blackout curtains to hide the glowing of the city, as well as blindfolds that you are provided to you to wear, and soft sheets. Each of you has your own private room, all paid for, of course, by Lord Duskwatch. And all of you going to retire for the night?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, yeah.
I'm
Actually, I'm gonna stick on at the
room.
pub for a bit
Okay.
longer. My
Yeah.
expenses are being paid, then hell yeah.
That's true. Yeah, you can continue to drink for free for as long as you please.
That's true. I might go and join them and try a different drink, see if it's any better than that last one I had. I'm feeling okay now.
You know, I'll
well,
join them for an hour. Since there's two people out, may as well make it a third.
Come on, make the most of it.
Yeah.
Well, now that you've all passed the Something Ale challenge, you actually have the full inventory available to you, and you are allowed to select from a wide variety of wines, spirits, beers. Some of, in fact, most of which are brewed locally in the fringes.
Very fancy.
It's a
Surely it's
local
going to be
brew then.
quite strong stuff. This is like dwarf.
Absolutely.
I'll take a local dwarf.
Many of the spirits are incredibly strong,
Is it enough to
Like-
put like hair on your chest?
Oh dear.
like paint thinner strong.
Yikes.
That'll
I'm
put
gonna
hair on your
regret this.
eyeballs. Yeah, I'll have just just the one shot of whatever the strongest thing is.
Hmm.
Yeah, same
Okay.
here. Let's go.
I mean, your expenses are paid for already, so 2 shots are bought out of just a pure jet black. It looks like oil and it's bubbling.
Hell yes.
Is it thick
Chin
like
chin.
tar? Like syrup?
No, it's weird. It's the same viscosity as water, but it just looks like tar and it's bubbling like it's boiling. But when you touch the glass, it's ice cold. And the bartender says that this is distilled from ankheg venom, and those with low constitution have tried to drink it and died before.
Shit, checking my constitution. Is there any? Oh dear, he's rolling. Is there any?
He flashes you a wink, Yarkin.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
Bottoms up then.
Okay,
Hello?
Okay.
is everyone
Yep.
gonna drink?
Yeah, let's go.
Yarkin, are you gonna drink as well?
Yeah, let's go for it. Why not?
What's everyone's constitution scores?
12, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hyarkin, what's yours? It's
What
in
does
core
it say?
stats. Core stats, your constitution. 17.
17.
My god. And
He is
Erlan,
he is a healthy boy.
Oh,
Let
dear.
me quickly roll.
I've got doubts
No,
about me.
not a saving throw. Just what your score is.
My
On your
score
core
is?
on your core stats page. What your constitution is. 16.
Yeah.
So
16.
Oh, I'm gonna
Oh.
die.
the last thing you remember is saying
Oh, no.
bottoms up.
Damn it.
You are not immediately knocked unconscious, but you are utterly destroyed.
Amazing.
Wow.
Erlan and Hyarkin, you both take it like champs, to be honest. You put it down and you exhale and you swear fire comes out, despite the fact that the drink was ice cold. And you can just feel it sitting in your gut like a lead weight, refusing to be digested.
Before
You
Sorry.
you
go on.
take a second, you take a step away from the bar, and you almost lose your balance, and then the room begins to spin, and then it rights itself, and you are able to continue drinking. You can barely stand. You can barely form words and cohesive thoughts at the moment,
Before
which
I
is
pass
not
out,
unusual for you.
Before I pass out, I say round 2.
Okay.
Round 2. Round 2.
The bartender
But
brings
obviously, I
out
won't be able to drink it.
another 3 shots of this Ankheg poison distilled spirit, and then he sees the state that Ott is in. It's like, I think you've had enough, and he drinks the shot and leaves 2 left for Hyarkin and Erlan.
Ah.
Go on,
Down
guys.
the
was
hatch,
delicious.
boys.
Down the hatch.
Okay, I want Constitution saving throws from both of you.
That was good
Right.
to even wake up
Let's keep
tomorrow. 10.
Okay.
Oh no.
The moment it touches
Right.
Hyarkin's lips, he collapses to the ground and begins frothing at the mouth.
Oh my god, did I even swallow any?
It was just the
It
vapor
just
that made
just
it
the
pass out.
fumes
Yeah.
reaching your nose.
Someone
Erlan,
get
on
me
the
a
other
potion.
hand, once again, you knock it back, and the room turns upside down for a moment, and you realise you're lying down, and then it rights itself, and you get up, and
Wow.
you're feeling extremely waved right now.
God damn. I want to try again. I'm going to push my luck. Another.
Okay,
I'm
one
just
more.
on the floor going,
Damn
don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, that's not
As
high,
well,
is it?
the DC is higher this time as well.
Ugh.
It reaches your nose, and you don't even. Well, none of you are conscious enough to see what becomes of Erlan. But Erlan, that's the last thing you remember is reaching for the glass. And then all of you are woken up by the sound of pots and pans banging together in your rooms in the lovely Egg Inn, as Glottius is desperately trying to wake you up, saying, come on, you're going to be late. We have a very important meeting.
No,
And you're all tremendously hungover.
we knew we were.
Horribly, horribly so.
You're welcome, guys.
For the rest of you who got an early night's sleep, you have been provided a lovely breakfast with fresh brewed homegrown coffee or hot chocolate, locally hunted game meat for breakfast, and it's just been a pleasant, quiet morning for you. Blottius was very impressed to see you already up and about by the time he arrived.
During
I
like
just
the
like
quiet time that me and you,
point out, it was just me and Risu there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At breakfast in the morning.
like during the quiet time that me and Yolia had, I would, express my concerns about Paddington from the dream I had.
Yeah, definitely. So you tell him that he's fateless, and the Istus has told you to be wary of him because it shouldn't be possible for a person to not have a fate, and it certainly shouldn't be possible for the goddess of fate to not know who a person is.
When she's discussing this over breakfast, I'm like, what?
Pass the salt.
I'm just like, oh.
It just casually comes out in conversation. Also, can you pass the salt, please?
Yeah.
I just hand the salt over like with just like a blank expression, like, why, what, what? And I don't even know how to
The
process.
never.
I don't even know how to process that. Like, is that even a possibility?
You don't know. I mean,
It's like for I think for Yoya, how much she fucking just takes the piss out of the Goddess of Fate.
yeah, you don't really know a lot about religion in the first place. You wouldn't know what's possible for a god,
Yeah.
really.
But like, but surely I would, it'd be like, she used Goddess of Fate.
Yeah, this sounds
if
crazy.
Goddess
This
is,
sounds
yeah,
impossible.
but I'm like, I mean, I personally don't think that I have a fate. I choose such a thing. But as we're here, something is obviously guiding it, which makes less sense for him.
It's almost as though you have a connection to like the one person in the universe who could tell you what the exact nature of fate is and could answer those questions for you.
I don't really want to talk to him, fucker.
That's fair.
I don't think she'd want to talk to me either, so let's put it that way.
Well, she notably only spoke to Risu about this.
I wonder why.
Rather than you.
Probably because I'd take the piss out of her.
Mhm.
I then one sec. I then casually say, "What kind of fucking goddess doesn't even know someone's fate?"
Sorry, what did you say, Sarah?
So somebody else knows in our group now.
Mm-hmm. You've shared the
So-
secret.
Mm.
Now it is a secret between the two of you. The other three dirty stop-outs who you actually saw carted home. Blottius had to fetch you as you were just catatonic on the floor of the bar, and people like just stood over you, continuing their drinks, laughing at you.
I got laughed at twice in one night. Great.
Yeah, so you now are awoken by the sound of pots and pans being bashed together, being told that you're late. You're bundled into like a shower, and just like jets of hot water bring you to consciousness.
I would have thought it'd be cold water just to try and wake him up more. The
That
shock
would be
of
very.
hot water.
That would be very impolite.
I'm just gonna
his most
projectile
valuable
I mean-
guest.
somewhere.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I turned to him and say, "You can use cold water. It'll probably wake him up faster."
Yes, but that would be that would be very unpleasant for our most important guests in this city.
I look at him and I look at him and say, "I still believe it would be the best option." And as I just give him a wry smile,
No, I'm just looking over and shaking my head like, no, please.
and I'm like, I just look at Yark and say, and just mouth, "Your fault."
So you hear the sound of a dial being turned, and then the
No.
water turns ice cold. Erland the vomit is washed away, and Glottius says, "Yes, you must get that awful stuff out of your system. As I told you, you had a meeting this morning. I don't know what you were thinking."
I'm gonna
I
projectile
pipe up, going, "Yes. What on earth were you thinking, doing something so foolishness?"
Yeah,
So
Erlan, I
foolish,
can't
man.
believe you lured us into doing that. You
And I
beast.
can't believe he didn't invite me.
You're not
Yeah,
allowed.
we're not gonna invite the
You wouldn't be
babby
served
along.
anyway.
It's alright,
They
you can
could
have
have
some
given
orange
her
juice.
apple juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As always.
What's my favorite running joke of this campaign is that Risu can't get drinks.
Can defeat
She
world-ending.
is with a fucking magical bow
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
fires fire, but she can't drink booze.
Hmm.
Also, right to pants.
Champion of the goddess of fate, not allowed to drink.
Yeah, she's
PG friendly.
too young
Yeah.
for that. Did you not realise that this is
Yeah.
fantasy America?
Yeah, she has to be 21, despite the fact
21.
I think her race live until 30, so
So-
technically 3 years old is considered an adult. So like for a Aarakocra, she's like early teens, but also she has the Mask of the Robin on, which makes her appear even smaller. So
I just realised that the music's just changed from.
Yeah,
some,
this is
like-
Halo now. Thanks, Matt.
Oh, am I going
Right.
to get flagged for this? Cheers,
Absolutely.
Matt. Cheers, Matt.
I love the song. Matt can be our DJ. So, you are all awakened and eventually brought to your senses, probably most of the party feeling pretty sorry for themselves. Some of the worst hangovers of your life
man.
after having just drank distilled venom. You are brought towards the Bulwark Dragon's Keep, and God, the glowing lights are horrid. They're so painful.
Too bright.
Everything is so bright. And you are put into the back of a carriage, and the curtains are drawn, and you can still see the lights glowing through the curtains,
My head.
burning your
Yeah, I was gonna
retinas.
say.
Give them the fancy eye masks that we had for our hotel.
Just
Here you
leave
go,
them
But
guys.
around
it's still so
blind.
bright.
The mask,
They-
it
Did
does
they have one
nothing.
designed for such a small bird?
Does not.
They did. They have all sorts of, this is a tourist accommodation. They have all sorts of guests of all ages and sizes and races. As and you are led into the Bulwark Dragon's Keep, and it stands in the center of what is already a very built up and very tall city that extends out of this crater. This keep, which is in the center of the crater, the lowest point, still extends taller than anything else in the city. This shining beacon of light in the darkness that is the surface. Everywhere you look in this enormous keep, you see heavily armed guards wearing plate mail armor, carrying crossbows, and it's not even long swords because these are all dwarfs carrying them. It seems to be like the bastard child of a longsword and a meat cleaver. These really wide blades. And that seems to be their standard apparel. You are guided deeper and deeper into this keep, through streets so narrow and so tall that they seem more like corridors than streets, as you are brought to the palace right in the center of the keep. You enter in, you are ushered towards the throne room, where Blotius begins to coach you on how you should address the king. He tells you that you should not speak and should not introduce yourselves until Blotius has announced you, and you have been asked to come forward and stand before the king, at which point you are all expected to bow. You should only address the king when spoken to, and you should always refer to him as Your Majesty.
Your
What's the king's name?
travesty. I get it.
What's the king's name?
Yes, the king is King Octavius Bulwark.
Octavius Bulwark.
That's the one.
Octavius Bullock. Right. Okay.
And in fact, he lists off like a whole bunch of titles for him, but his name is Octavius Bulwark.
So King Bollocks. Right. Okay. That's cool.
This is going to be wonderful.
Did you expect any less from the guy
No,
who called
not at
the
all.
goddess of fate the imp fucker?
I knew exactly what we were
the
getting
demon,
into.
the demon that we're meant to be fighting ass lover.
So, you are ushered into the throne room, where there is, in fact, a whole line of people all waiting to speak to the king. And you take your place in the line, and there's only a few people in front of you. You are sort of ushered to the center of the line based on priority and appointment, and you take a number, essentially, and people have their meetings with the king and explain what it is that they have, why it is that they've asked for a meeting with the king. And then they are ushered out the side door, and whatever happens. The king doesn't seem to be a relentlessly cruel man. He does seem to be listening to his people, at least. And as you get closer to the front of the line, you hear a young dwarven woman ahead of you saying that she still hasn't heard any word from her father, and that she was hoping by now that the king would have sent soldiers to search for him. And the king says that her father was investigating the Silver Guardian, and that if they were to send soldiers to the Silver Guardian's domain, the Silver Guardian would most likely take offense to that, and so they cannot do so. Eventually, you are ushered forwards, and Blotius announces you and says all of your names and calls you Fate Touched. A flash of recognition comes across the king's face when he hears you announced as Fate Touched. He seems to have heard the word before, and he says, "Oh yes, the ones that the young lord from the citadel mentioned. What was his name? Duskwatch, Duskkeep, something along those lines. Yes, he mentioned that you would be coming to my city, so that you were quite useful agents, I believe. Yes. Please, you may speak."
So I step forward and announce myself and say, "It is great to meet you, King Bollocks."
Oh no.
Out loud. It's like, yes, we are the Fate Touch from Lord Duskwatch. His name is the patron. He is allowing us more to. He is funding a campaign to try and help ease the dangers within this world. We are hoping. Go on.
When you say King Bollocks, he doesn't seem to, like, his facial expression just seems to be set in stone. He doesn't seem to respond at all, and the words you say just seem to float straight past him. He doesn't even pay you any mind.
So I notice that and stop, mid through sentence.
Destroyed.
I'm just like, wow, I'm surprised someone actually didn't take offense to that. and I say, you have a stronger sense of what's the word I'm looking for here? Other characters.
It's fine. I'm sure travelers from afar, such as yourselves, can't be expected to keep up with all of the difficulties that must be associated with politeness when visiting someone else's home. Of course, I can't expect too much from rural hicks such as yourself.
I give a smile at that and saying, I wouldn't call where I come from rural. I'd call it more wild.
Of course, I've never had the pleasure of visiting the other side of the continent myself, but I have heard stories of your kind and your presence there. It brings me some delight to see such capable agents come to my city. I was informed by Duskwatch's ambassador that I could rely on you for matters of delicacy, and of course I was informed of your mission of great import, some monster from the stars or some such. There are some ways that I could help you with your quest, I'm sure. If you are willing to assist with my own matters.
I stand there, yes, of course. I after hearing the notion of the missing father, notions like I overheard that such a person is pleading find their father. I've heard the notions that he was quite a respected man within the city, but you cannot send soldiers to where he was due to diplomatic reasons. There would be
Yes,
no difficulty with ourselves going.
Well, I was about to suggest the very same thing. There are a few matters that, unfortunately, I am unable to spare the men for, or am unable to send soldiers to deal with such things, and perhaps acting as agents on behalf of Duskwatch with no horse in the race, so to speak. Perhaps you could assist with some of these matters. One, of course, would be the issue of my missing wizard. Yes, he's quite well respected. He's done some work for me personally, and it really would be a pity if he was no longer among the living.
What's the situation?
Yes, well, you see, I certainly hope Blotius has informed you of the intricacies of our city and perhaps about the Silver Guardian herself. And Blotius looks at his shoes and says, "Please forgive me, Your Majesty. I will, if you allow me, I will immediately." No, it's fine. I shall tell them. This land, Bulwark, is in the middle of very hostile territory. We are, of course, protected by these glowing walls and by our exceptionally well-trained defenders here,
What's
as well
in
as
these
by...
glowing walls? Why do they glow?
I see you have not had much time to become acquainted with my fair city, young sir. And for a moment he pauses when you interrupt him.
Sorry, sir.
But
May I interject?
But he says, yes, you sky folk seem to think that Ethereum is the only metal of any magical properties. You forget that the ground beneath us has been magical since long, long before the calamity. And there are as many magical ores as there are people to name said magical ores. Here in Bulwark, we are fortunate to have a healthy supply of mithril, from which we are able to build many of our defenses and many of our lighting fixtures.
They really say.
Yes, very much so. I certainly hope you aren't planning anything untoward in my city.
Not at all. You can trust us.
Of course. And
I take a kneel.
He looks
Yeah,
over.
I don't know what's going on, so I just kneel at the same time. kind of oh shit, is that what we're meant to be doing?
Yeah.
I'm still feeling a bit sick, and I just look round and get down on one knee as well.
I just during this entire situation where we've been talking, I didn't even bother to kneel or like.
I know.
I just
Don't
stood
worry.
down.
I know.
Yeah, I'm just dazed and confused.
You knew exactly what was happening.
I say forgive my colleague's stance. He is not well equipped to deal with someone of your nature.
1 second.
She, sorry.
Thank you. Get it right.
Out of RP, sorry. Yeah, she's not well equipped with dealing with someone of your nature. I do apologise.
Never mind. I'm not such a poor host that I would hold, such a slight against your characters. I'm sure that we can have very profitable arrangements between us. Yes, there are a few issues that perhaps you have heard about in recent times, that there are some difficulties with finding the answers to. The other issue that potentially you could be of assistance with would be the perhaps you've heard or seen of the glowing lights to the east. I sent a detachment of men to investigate what the cause of them is, but unfortunately they have not returned, and one of our mining villages over in that direction has stopped reporting about a week ago. Of course, I would love to send a larger detachment of men there, but if perhaps a scalpel would be more effective than a hammer, then maybe you could be a scalpel on my behalf. I realized that I neglected to finish explaining the nature of the Silver Guardian. They are a silver dragon who lives in the area. We call her that because metallic dragons by nature are generally friendly towards us mortal races, and for as long as we do not encroach into her domain, she does provide protection from some of the worst creatures that lurk the darkness.
I'm going to whisper to the others.
Logan
I'm gonna
will put the
whisper.
music back on.
I'm going to say, are we mercenaries now?
Whisper back saying we were always mercenaries,
Are we the
even for the
baddies?
While
Are we the baddies?
Well, of course, if you have no interest in working for the crown, you are very welcome to go on your way or to remain in my city for as long as you please. You've not broken any rules as far as I have been informed. I will, of course, make you aware of the possible profits of assisting me. You see, I was informed by Duskwatch that you are motivated by. What's the word I'm looking for? Not greed, more enlightened capitalism, of course. I would be more than happy to furnish you with as much money as you require, and perhaps a unique reward that none other could grant to you. Perhaps you've heard of the Deep Terror. It is a creature not local to this area, but within my domain. And while no one is foolish enough to claim it as something that they have at their disposal, I could arrange a meeting with it for you. It is incredibly ancient. Stories tell that it has memories of times before the gods even came to this world, and if you seek information, it could be a very valuable source.
On that.
I was
Info.
gonna say,
Info
yeah,
is power.
Oh yeah, info is power. Yeah.
Of course, I will warn you ahead of time. It's not called the Deep Terror for no reason. It is not friendly.
I mean, most things we meet aren't friendly, other than like
Fight
when
a
we go to cities.
vampire.
Yeah, and some Death Knight, like Christ.
I see, very accomplished are you. In that case, all the more reason why I should wish to employ you. Whatever it is you choose to do is entirely up to you, of course, whether you choose to help me and how you choose to help me. If not, I'm sure Blotius would be very happy to continue being your guide while you are still in my city, or he will very happily, with my blessing, provide you with transport to wherever it is you need to go. Outside of my domain.
Do you have further information about this silver
I'm
dragon?
afraid about the Guardian?
Yes.
Personally, I will not be able to provide you with additional information, but I can point you in the direction of this wizard's daughter, who, of course, assisted him with some of his investigations. If you would like to speak with her, although I warn you, if you speak with her, she will most certainly ask that you assist.
We are offering our assistance, so it's not really a problem.
Wonderful, wonderful. In that case, I wish you all the best of luck. And with that, your conversation is officially ended, whether you wish it or not, and a bunch of guards usher you out of the throne room.
Hi, King Bollocks.
And
He got
Goodbye, me lord.
Lord.
Yeah, goodbye,
Yolia
Your
is
Majesty.
shoved forwards by a really surprisingly strong dwarf. Who, like, elbows you in the back of the knee and almost buckles you down.
What, who?
One
All of
the guard
us.
who is uttering, no, just Yolia.
Good.
And the king has already stopped listening to you and is speaking to the next person in line.
As that occurs, I then laugh and say, "At least I got someone riled up." As we
God
carry
doesn't
on.
respond to you at all. He's very professional.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yolia, you annoying son of a bitch.
What can I say? I don't give two shits to like to authority figures really.
Me neither. I want his money.
But you are told of where to find the house of the wizard. You're told his name is Blasius Celsus, and his daughter is Alba Celsus. You are told that exactly where to find her house in what's it flipping called? The Veiled Gardens, which you have not visited yet, but Blasius once again is able to get you transportation. And is that where you would like to go next?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
best we go see her.
Okay. You actually make it to her house shortly before she does, because she was in line ahead of you and has less access to transport than you. But first of all, I will explain what the Veiled Gardens looks like to you, because it kind of sticks out in comparison to the rest of the city. It is, for one thing, the color green is present. It is there's a huge collection of greenhouses that occupy a large section of the land here, and there are some very high-value houses interspersed all throughout the area. There's lots of lovely public parks where people are allowed to come, and plenty of vegetable gardens which seem to be regularly tended. This doesn't seem like it provides nearly enough food to supply the city, so much as it is just a tourist destination that also provides some food. But it is a very novel sight here in this city of gold, in this land of gloom and white.
They always call it.
And yeah, again, it's not just green, obviously. There's a whole spectrum of colours of beautiful flowers in all these parks and such. And the wizard Calsus is his laboratory is located here in the garden, and it overlooks one of these more beautiful things. And I mean, it seems like a just nice house, despite the fact that it's been called a laboratory to you. And like, again, you knock on the door to no answer because you have arrived here before his daughter. But eventually, she does arrive, walking down the roads, looking quite upset by her predicament, and spots you all outside her door and greets you and says, "Excuse me, can I help you all?"
So I'm probably like, are we like in a garden area right now? Where
Yes.
So it's quite
Well,
natural here.
Yeah, it's very natural here.
I'm
It's manufactured natural. It's not like the wilderness, for example, but it is as close as you will get.
okay, so I'm just kind of like calming myself in there because it's nice,
Mm-hmm.
perfect for me. And so I realise she's appeared and go, "Oh, yes, we have come from the palace. We overheard your predicament from the king himself.
Oh,
We've come to offer our
yes,
assistance."
I did see you in the line behind me. Well, that's wonderful news. You've decided you wanted to try and investigate what's happened to my father. I mean, I've tried looking into things myself, but I simply he's quite secretive about his research and about his notes. I haven't been able to decipher a lot. Perhaps you would have more luck. You said the king sent you? He told me that he wasn't willing to send anyone.
I think he was unwilling to send anyone from his own court and army. Is probably
I
the
see.
better.
Well, far be it from me to look a gift tabaxi? Is that the right word?
I'm correct. That's not.
Of course, I apologize. I've never met one of your kind before. Well, far be it from me to look a gift anyone in the mouth, frankly. My situation is quite dire at the moment, I'm sure you're aware. Please come in. I'd love to serve you some tea and answer any questions you have about my father.
Yes, well, thank you.
And you come in and you're brought into the front room where there is a table and some wooden chairs, and she begins brewing a pot of tea for everyone. And it just seems like a quaint home. And she says to you that, yes, my father's lab was up in the attic. It's where he kept most of his notes. I've searched through there myself, hoping to find some clues, but I was never able to understand any of what he had written. I helped him on a few of his projects, but not on this. He seemed frantic, so excited about it.
What was he researching?
The Guardian, the Silver Guardian. He was saying he was going to get a closer view than anyone ever had before of one of the world's oldest living creatures. I told him that it was foolish and that dragons aren't to be trifled with, but he laughed and said he had an ingenious plan. And then the next morning he was gone, and I have not seen or heard from him in 3 weeks now.
Kind of genius plan.
I wish I knew. I really hope it was as genius as he claimed. My father is, he's a little eccentric, to say the least. A lot of times when an idea strikes him, he becomes obsessed with it. That was very much the case with this research. And
So, do you know much more about what he was researching about the dragon, or was it just?
I mean, I know about the folklore of the Silver Guardian. I know that during the troubled times after the calamity, she came and settled in the area. I know that she watched over the first dwarves who founded Bulwark, our King Octavius's ancestors, and I know that she stood alongside them and defended the realm from evils when particularly powerful magic storms came before the end of the troubled times. And I know that she has been very reclusive over the last few centuries, preferring to stay within her own domain and watch over the city from afar, as the stories tell. We have a lot of statues and monuments dedicated to her celebration. She's done a lot of good for this city. I certainly don't think she would have hurt my father, not from the way that people talk about her. I certainly don't hope that she's that kind of person. I know my father can be a fool sometimes, but surely he's not fool enough to offend a dragon.
Why on earth would a dragon help the dwarves?
Well, that's the thing, you see. There's various types of dragons. I'm sure you've been up in the sky, which they're unfortunately in the sky above us. It's close to a place, Dragon's Rest, and
Yeah,
from
don't
there,
go there. That's what we've been told. Always,
Yeah.
never go there.
well, from there, quite often, according to my father, chromatic dragons, those who are aligned to evil, are often outcast from that society or strike out on their own for might and glory, and so they will cause trouble within the domain of the elves. But there are also metallic dragons, silver, bronze, brass, and dragons are an incredibly ancient species. Some say that they were here before any other life came to this world, and no one really understands their nature, but it's generally accepted that metallic dragons are ordinarily, if a little distant, generally benevolent. And that's why we call her the Silver Guardian, because she is a guardian of this place. She probably thinks of it as part of her domain.
I see. Very strange situation to be in.
Yeah.
No one has seen her in centuries. There have been rumors. Occasionally, a talking animal will appear, and if you venture too close into her domain, and will sit with travelers and tell them stories of the Silver Guardian, but no one will ever be allowed deeper into the domain. I have no idea what my father's plan was or how he hoped to get deeper in. Perhaps you would be able to decipher his notes.
So probably the best place to start would be through his notes to work out what he is researching exactly.
Of course, and by now I'm assuming that, like, during your discussion you've finished your tea. And she brings you upstairs and then pulls a little hatch to the attic, which, like, more collapsible, like telescopic stairs, like cascade down and slide into place, allowing access to the attic and Blasius Celsus's laboratory. It's not so much a lab as in a chemical lab. There's no fumes here, but there are whiteboards set up everywhere, or at least boards set up everywhere with scrawled pages pinned to them. And does anyone remember the Pepe Sylvia joke from Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's all the sheets
Of
of paper
course.
with, like, string connecting them like a conspiracy theory. It's very much that, and it's completely disorganized, just utter chaos of paper everywhere.
I say you weren't joking when you said he was a bit eccentric then.
Yes. I mean, I've had difficulty knowing where to start when I say deciphering his notes. She does direct your attention to a writing desk that sits in the middle of the room. And again, just like everywhere else in this room, the whole place is very well lit. No shadow is allowed in this city. And upon it rests a thick, extremely heavy journal. And she says, my father had been keeping notes in this journal. I don't know why he didn't take it with him, but I wonder if perhaps this might provide some answers. I haven't been able to read it. I don't know what language he's written it in.
Should we all take a quick
I was
read
going
of
to
it?
say, it's
See
like,
if-
shall we have a look? See if. I was going to say, let's open it up and see what languages.
Okay. What language does everyone know?
I could speak Elven, I think.
Primordial and Orc.
Elven, Common, and Ocelotti.
Sarah, what can you read?
Oh, I can read Dwarfish as well.
It's on the background tab, by the way, if you're looking for that, Sarah. Hello?
Hello? Hello? Yeah, I'm
Okay,
looking.
Okay, that's fine.
Uh,
Nick, what can Hyakin read?
Right, I can read Common, Infernal, Elvish, and Oran.
All right.
I can
Okay.
read Common, Aarakocra, Oran, Dwarven.
Is that it?
Any languages?
Featherbird.
4, 5, 5.
Sorry,
5 languages and you're 3 years old. What?
very talented 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Did you say Draconic, Sarah?
Yeah.
You can read this.
Hey.
Ooh, big
It's
brain.
written in Draconic, and Ott, you can read some parts of it because Draconic is a very similar language to Primordial. It shares it's like trying to read Spanish if you can read French. You can pick out this word probably means that because it's similar to this. But Risu is actually able to read it, and the notes seem to go into detail about dragons' hordes and how various types of dragon seem to prefer different things in their hordes. They prefer to hoard different items. For example, copper dragons, rather than hoarding material goods, often hoard either stories or goods that carry sentimental value and have stories attached to them. And Logan needs to grab the monster manual so he can remember what the type of hoard is for a silver dragon. Just give him a moment. Got him. La 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 la. Logan didn't think he would have to read the monster manual today.
Mm.
The devils? Nope. Displacer beast. That's cool. Dragons. Here we go. So, black dragons, blue dragons, green dragons, red dragons, white dragons, metallic dragons. Here we go. So, brass, bronze, copper, gold. Where's the silver? Here we go. Silver. So, yes, there we go. Silver dragons are known to hoard things of historical significance. And in particular, this researcher was looking into various artifacts which are significant to the history of this city. In particular, was a shield that was apparently granted to the first in the line of Bulwark, which it was granted to him by Cord, in fact, hence its name, the Unbreakable Shield of Cord. And his notes seem to just go into detail about the appearance of this shield and every single facet, and there's very intricate diagrams that are very well annotated about what exactly the shield is. And then the notes seem to end once he has a clear idea of everything he felt he needed to know about this shield. He stopped writing in this journal.
Are there any other journals?
There is paper scattered all over this room.
Is
Does
there
it look
anything we
like he's
can?
Yeah, I was
been
going to say,
storing-
what's it written in?
This sounds like a good chance for an investigation check.
Let's roll.
Oh boy, I can't wait to roll terribly because that's what I do.
Hot damn with that nat 20, Sarah.
Wow.
Definitely
Yeah.
don't need to worry about it anymore because Sarah's just fucking found
Yeah.
everything.
So, Sarah, since you have more access to the notebook than anyone else and have more ease reading his notes than anyone else, and people are having to call you over to try and help translate what various things say, You're able to pick through all of his notes probably better than anyone else in your presence, and you spot what appears to be a map detailing a route through the local area towards the Silver Guardian's domain. And along with it, you see instructions for a potion, or the brewing of a potion, which you probably don't know like what exactly it would do, but probably Hyarkin, being a huge nerd, would be able to figure out what it is. It's a potion that would transform someone and give them at least the physical appearance of an inanimate object.
Why on earth would you want that?
Yeah, sounds useful.
Mm,
Today
I
I
wonder.
want to be a pot.
I think I know where this has gone, or what he's done. From just hearing this.
Well, when you say that, his daughter pipes up and says, "Please tell me what do you think he's done? Where is my father?"
Have a
Your
look at
Turned
the
himself
pot.
into a
It's
turned
your-
himself into a femme douche.
Have a look at the pot plant on your way out.
Hey, I'm pretty certain your father has turned himself into some kind of inanimate object in which the silver dragon might want to keep in
Yeah.
their hoard, so that he can then go and look through the hoard himself.
But he forgot
What?
to find out how to turn himself back again.
Maybe.
What? That's the most. What?
Yes, it does sound stupid. Do you expect your father to not do something so reckless?
He probably
mean,
turned
he's-
himself into a shield.
He's been reckless before, but
Is
to
it out of the question?
place himself- Probably not. No.
There we go.
I can't believe this. Wow, this is really. I mean, no one has ever been to, deep into the domain, but I suppose if the Silver Guardian had picked him up and taken him as part of her treasure hoard, I guess. But, I mean, dragons are smarter than that, I think. Surely they just see, oh yeah, that's an idiot disguised as a shield.
Maybe.
Let's hope that you're wrong. Otherwise, your dad might be in big trouble. And yeah, maybe we could follow his footsteps. Perhaps we can use one of our guys as a decoy, not it, and find the
Not
dragon's
it.
hoard. No, not it.
Taito something to do.
No.
Well, seeming as no one else is putting themselves forward.
Oh, I am so happy right now. Well, you have instructions for the brewing of this potion. I don't think any of you have the expertise to do it, but you could certainly find someone in the city who has the expertise to do it. And I think Blossius could,
Gareth.
in fact, provide you with. Gareth could almost certainly do it. He's a very skilled potion maker.
Yeah.
So he can take you back to Gareth's Emporium along with these instructions. And in fact, when Gareth looks over them, he goes, "I remember this. A wizard came to me a few weeks ago, and asked me to make some for him. I mean, I could whip up another batch for you, and it would cost you 6,000 gold, give or take." I'm
Go ahead,
joking. I'm joking. How much do you need?
Enough for one person. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think so.
I'll
Are you really
warn
just
you,
gonna send-
this is experimental stuff. I don't know how long it'll last. So, I mean,
It'll be long enough for us to need it.
you drink
or-
it and you can turn into an object of your choosing. I'm not going to question why you want this stuff, but I could whip you up a batch for 50 gold.
Good at. If you want.
50 gold.
50 gold.
For
You
how
have to
many?
remember to use all of my brewing supplies. Yeah, I'm built for making large batches of potions, so I have to charge setup costs of a batch, even if it's only a single one. If you were to buy in bulk, I could provide you with a discount, but
Well, might be a smart idea.
I'm afraid this isn't the sort of product that I stock. It's a little too experimental for my tastes. Potions are very dangerous, and something that will turn you into an inanimate object for an indeterminate amount of time is not something that I could in good conscience provide en masse to my customers. Since you have specifically asked for it and bought the recipe for it, I'm willing to provide it to you, but
Okay.
expensive.
We could all chip in together, then it'll end up not being as bad for us.
Well,
If
we
we all
I
threw in
think
like
if we-
10 gold each or something.
I think if we created a full a batch, it'd probably be better if we had a couple just in case. You never know.
We use each other as weapons.
Well, if
Is
you were
this a
to make
possibility?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yes.
And what would happen if that sword theoretically broke?
You're not sure.
Would they have like broken bones when they turn back into people?
You're not sure. And the thought worries you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not
Maybe
going to
don't
turn
turn
myself
into
a
anything
weapon.
brittle. But he
Egg,
says
egg,
that if
egg.
for free potions, it's a significantly larger batch, and he could provide them for 30 gold apiece.
Yeah.
Do that.
Okay.
Got a piece.
So 90 gold. I'm going to strangle you to death, Robert. Okay. For 4 potions, he can do it for 25 gold apiece, which totals to 100 gold.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, whatever, you guys work out between you who's willing to pay what. But it's 100 gold for 4 potions.
Okie doke. So it's I don't really know how we're gonna split
Well,
that, but whatever.
If it's 5 people, it's 20 gold apiece. But I know Rob has volunteered to pay more because he wants the extra potion.
So we're paying for 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 3 is 90 gold and 4 is 100 gold. So the difference is 10 gold. And then you split 90 gold 5 ways. Oh, let me just get a calculator. Fine. 90 divided by 5, 18 gold apiece, and so 28 gold from Opt.
So 18 from the rest of us, and then...
Yeah,
And
that's
then
fine, Bobby.
28 from Opt.
Okay.
Is everyone willing to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark it all off your things, and it takes him about an hour to brew the potions, during which time, I mean, you're encouraged to play with the apparatus again. It doesn't have a specific name because it's still an experimental thing. It's not like a widely available thing. But if you were to put it in your inventory, call it a potion of transform into into object or something. Yeah, let's call it that. Potion of transform into object. You have no idea how long it will last. You just know that you drink it and you turn into something that you choose. Yes. Person who drinks it.
Okay, then. So that's something interesting.
Mm-hmm. So,
What's the next step, guys? What's the plan now? We have these potions.
Map. Right?
Great, I have to pay for them and I might just fucking die. Great.
well, I
Paying
mean, you
for
have to
it, yeah.
pay 18 gold. Yeah.
God damn it.
I'm
God damn
not
it.
going to make you potions for free. This guy barely knows you. He asks you if you want to buy the instrument of the bards yet.
God damn it! I don't have I have even less money now.
That's very, very upsetting to hear, but he still has it in his inventory, and he will keep you in mind. He can brew whatever potion he wants. He just, this isn't the sort of quality of good that he normally sells.
Is this a potion that is too powerful for us? Is it Logan?
Potion seller.
Potion seller. I need your strongest potions.
God, I love that video.
Oh, that video just kills me every time. So I think we should, I don't know, head towards the Guardian's domain.
Okay.
You definitely don't want to restock on potions, or?
No, I'm fine for potions.
Wow.
Yeah,
This is going.
Yeah, I'm all good.
This was not the quest chain I was expecting, but cool. I'm really happy about this.
Which one were you expecting?
I ain't telling you. I don't want to inform your decisions.
Did we do a goof?
No, these quests were all provided to you. You could have picked any of them. Blotius, before you leave, directs you towards a. Well, first of all, he takes you out of one of the gates. In fact, he takes you out of the eastern gate and directs you to the southeastern fringes, where there is a large ranch with these strange hermit crab-like creatures that are scuttling about and feeding on this ghostly pale grass in their paddock. And above the sign says Clack Ranch, and Blossius explains to you that many people tend to use horses as their primary means of transportation, but he did some thinking, and you seem like the sort who tend to go off-road. So if you were going to get a carriage, perhaps a creature more suited to off-road travel than a horse would be better for you. And Clack Ranch and these weird hermit crab-like creatures, and they are giant car-sized hermit crabs.
Do they have saddles?
No, they pull along carriages.
I want to ride on its back.
You could.
Then I will.
But of course, as part of your sponsorship, Lord Duskwatch provides for your food and transportation. So, Blossius will speak to the owner, and provided you guys give your consent to have one of these creatures, you are provided with one, and it has this peppermint pink and white striped shell. This one in particular that is bought out, and the owner says, "Yes, this is one of my best scorbs. His name is Jeremy. We're gonna miss him a lot. Promise me you'll take care of him. I mean, I've been assured that he'll be going to a good owner, and you guys aren't going to be getting him into too much danger. I mean, he's got a big shell, he can look after himself a little bit, right? And he's a strong boy." And Blossius arranges to have provisions for several days put into the carriage, and the carriage isn't the most comfortable, but it's got these big wide wheels that are good for traveling off-road, and with the strength of Jeremy, you should be able to traverse just about any terrain. Your journey through the wilderness will not be uneventful. I think probably it might be best left for another night, because it's a little bit late to be getting into combat.
Means that our combat normally takes about an hour anyway.
Yeah, so it would be 9:30 if you guys get into combat. I mean, we can do. We just have to roll for random encounters now. Your journey will be 3 days to get to the point that is marked on the map within the domain of the Silver Guardian. So you will roll on your. I'll have someone roll a d12 3 times, and on an 11 or a 12, you get a random encounter. With an 11, it is a slightly less bad random encounter, and with a 12, it is a much more bad random encounter.
I'll do the 3 people. Happy with that. I've already got it.
Okay.
So I do it for it one at a time. So obviously make it easier.
You can do, yeah.
For some reason that rolled like that. I don't know why.
What have you?
I literally just did 1d. I don't know why I did rolling d12. It's like I don't know why it rolled it as 2 for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I see 3 d12 rolls there, which is a 4, a 12, and a 1. So we can go with that, and you can have a random encounter on your second day, I guess. Unfortunately, it is a 12, which is going to be the harder encounters. I need to roll on the table now for it. So, 17. Okay. That's not the right table. Okay. There's the right table. There we go. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. So, interestingly enough, and I should give you some flavor text for your journey through the darkness, as you are sat on the back of this. Probably the music doesn't really fit this, but I'm not going to change the music again. You are sat on the back of this carriage, being pulled by this strange alien peppermint creature through this kind of eerie, ghost-like meadows, and the grass is, of course, never cut, and it just grows to tremendous length. So very soon you are out of sight of anyone or anything, even after just a few hours of travel. And like as you crest over hills, you become able to see the city in the distance. Eventually, you reach the edge of like a wooded area, which the map dictates is the entrance to the domain of the Silver Guardian. That she dwells somewhere up in the hills of this strange ghostly forest. It's all pitch black, and you only have your lantern light to guide the way, but your Scorb, your beast of burden, has dark vision and is seemingly able to navigate without any difficulty, pulling you off the beaten path and finding routes around fallen logs and such. And unfortunately, though, you make quite a lot of noise as you're going through, and you're always on the lookout because you're aware that in this world of unstable planar boundaries, a dark place like this could house a portal to the Shadowfell, which you're very aware means undead. Fortunately for you, you don't come across any undead. Instead, a flaming arrow strikes the edge of the grass just in front of your cart, and something bellows out in Orcish as you hear a rumbling as a huge creature comes charging up over the hill in front of you, and flanking you on either side are 2 very large, muscular, well-armed orcs, and in front of you, cutting off your way ahead, is this huge, larger than any creature you've ever seen, almost a giant, lumbering beast that is running towards you. And I think probably that is where we should leave it for tonight, because, again, combat takes like an hour with us, at least, and it's almost 9 now.
Yeah, that's okay.
Also, my mouth is so dry. I did not have enough to drink before this, guys.
I'm really thirsty. I was thinking of going off to get a drink in between at some point, but I thought, no.
Yeah, I've been doing so
Yeah.
much. You've had some talkative NPCs today, guys. I'm dying here.
Yeah, it's a lot worse for you.
Oh my god.
Go and get yourself a drink. You've earned it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be back in like 5 minutes. You guys hang out, and then we can chat if you want. Yeah.
All right.